This is the summit running all the way until 6 p.m. I am a radio host on the campus radio station, Fox University, recently ranked the number one university in Africa. I am a master of ceremony and also voiceover artist, and I am excited to be doing this with you. We hosted it last year. It was very exciting, and it's back again this year. And I think one of the reasons why I said yes to this is because I love the iconic Africa under 40 CEO Summit that Honor stands for. We're all about just sort of creating awareness when it comes to Africa's CEOs, business leaders who are just doing big things. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're here. You are the people who are doing that. So give yourselves a round of applause, please. I think we can do better than that. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very excited, and why I'm excited is because this year's theme is the Africa we want, accelerating excellence for a self-reliant continent. So the theme highlighted something very important, the fact that Africa is dependent on foreign countries when it comes to foreign solutions, foreign tech, and so we're here to have the important conversations, and we're also here to come up with solutions as well. So don't think that this is just any event. It's a very serious event, and you're going to help us do all of that, achieve more ownership and become a self-reliant continent. So before we begin, I'd like to welcome the team, the brains behind this incredible platform. We're going to start with our CEO. Her name is Michelle, and also shout out to the big man, the founder, Mr. Mayor Kings, Dr. Tim Smith, who couldn't join us. He's watching all the way in Nigeria. If you sing this one, kudos to you, sir. Thank you so much for hosting us in South Africa. So let's give a round of applause for Michelle. All right, Michelle, can you kindly join us right inside, as she will be giving us a welcome address. And don't forget to also tag us on all social media platforms, our Instagram handle, iconic.africa holdings. Let's make some noise, create some awareness, and let everyone know that we are gathered here at the Capital Hotel. Right, Michelle, are you ready? Please do join us on stage and just sort of open up this incredible event for us. Looking amazing. Let's give a round of applause.
Again, can I get a welcome that's exciting? First of all, I just want to say thank you for everyone who decided to show up today. We had so many downfalls, but we managed to make this look this beautiful today. I just want to thank everyone for coming. On behalf of Iconic International Holdings, it is my great privilege to honor and welcome you to the Iconic Under 40 CEOs. Tonight we gather here not only to celebrate achievement, but to recognize and cherish. Sorry. My apologies. My apologies, everyone. Can you please give me 2 seconds comfort? I need to sort this out.
Right, so I think it's only fair that we get straight into it and cross over while we give Michelle some time to just gather herself together. To move over to a keynote address, I beg your pardon. I've got Dr. Vivian Mokome, who's going to be taking over the stage. You know, she's one of the people who's just sort of been breaking barriers and a person that's been showing us that it is done. And that there will be the naysayers, people who will have opinions, but the trick is to just focus on the prize, focus on the end goal. Can you please kindly give it up for Dr. Vivian Mokome, who will be giving us a keynote address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can you all hear me? Are you all well? What a beautiful day. But you don't look okay. Ngathi niphansi nonke. And I need you guys to give me that energy. I just want to start by greeting the CEO, the organizer, the founder, and all beautiful ladies and gentlemen who are in here. My name is Vivian Mokome. I was hijacked. I only got the theme this morning. And when I read through the theme, I remember saying this thing to my business partner. What am I going to say? I'm a visa-free Africa. How do I talk about it? Considering what is currently happening in our country. What do I say? And as we were sitting in the car, she narrated the story that happened in the century, the Berlin Conference. I don't know how many of you here know about the Berlin Conference. Do you all know about it? I'll start by narrating that, and I hope you all understand why am I talking about it. Apparently, in the 18th century, a settler came to our country. And what he expected, during that time, Africa, it was just, there were no continents like it is currently. It was just Africa. It was not divided. And he didn't expect anything. He stayed here for more than 14 days. And the partners were worried about him. They thought maybe udliwe, yilwane, because that's what everybody thinks of us when they think of Africa. But when he returned, he said to them, I have never seen such a rich continent, a beautiful continent, so rich with minerals. And they're asking, what do you mean by that? He said, what I've seen there is something that I've never seen in my life. There were no beggars in the streets. Those people are so united. They're so united in such a way that it's not going to be easy for anybody to break them. And they said, tell us more. What do you mean? And he said, one thing that I saw that was their backbone, was their culture, their spirituality. That was their backbone, their culture. And their culture is embedded in what we call today Ubuntu. It's what made them. Their backbone, their culture, which is embedded in what today we call Ubuntu. Their spirituality, which is their God. They call their God different names. Those who are Tonga, they call their God Mudzimu, Mvelianga. You know all of the names that we call Mudimu Warona. That was their backbone. And he said, the only way we can break them, I'm telling you a story. This is me and my business partner. We're sitting in the car and we're talking about it right now. The speech was just prepared now in the car. And he said, the only way we can destroy them is to break their backbone, their culture, and their spirituality. And he said, because of their culture which is embedded in Ubuntu, I didn't see any beggar in the streets. I don't think you hear me. I didn't see any beggar in the street. And Fatima, my business partner, said, this reminded me, Vivian, of your speech, the speech that you always said, that when you were growing up in the dusty street of Soshanguve, you knew that when there's no bread at home, you'll get it next door. Because we grew up understanding Ubuntu, we grew up understanding as Black people that it takes a village to raise a child. We knew that. The individuality, it wasn't something that we as Africans understood, but we understood Ubuntu, the spirit of togetherness, because that's what made us strong. And they're asking, so what can we do to break their backbone? Because he said, remember I was telling them about what makes us and what makes our country so rich. Because they wanted to find a way. It was 14 countries that were together, by the way. I will list those 14 countries, but I encourage all of you to read about the Berlin Conference. Imagine 4 countries gathered together, plotting how we can come and take our minerals. And as they were sitting, strategizing, you can imagine them sitting now in the boardroom. And this man said to them, because of their rich culture and spirituality, the only thing that we can do so that we can penetrate them is to introduce anything that is foreign to them. Foreign. Let's destroy their languages. Let's introduce something foreign, which is a language that is foreign to them, which is what they did. They used the strategies that the colonizer normally used to divide and rule. That's why those from the French market, those who were colonized by France, they made sure that they destroyed their language when they introduced a foreign language. And they understood that if there's anything, if they bring anything foreign, as Africans will embrace it more than our own. I mean, I am in a room that is full of Africans, but I'm forced to speak the language of the oppressor. How fun is that? I was supposed to speak my African language, which is Northern Sotho Sepedi, and you were all supposed to embrace me. But what they did, they introduced a foreign language. I'm going to ask this question because this is a question that we were asking in one of the meetings where I'm from. And I'm guilty of that as well. And I think Fatima, you are also guilty of that. How many of us speak with our children in our Africa? How many? Yeah. How many of you? Because we are all forced. Not all, but most of us, I'm guilty. Because I'm using the foreign language when I talk to my children. So that's what they did. That the only way we can break them is introduce anything foreign to them. They will embrace it. And let's make sure that they think, when they think of their spirituality, they will think that it is a sin. The moment they think of their spirituality, they'll think it's a sin. They'll not embrace it. Let's bring something that they do not know. Our culture to them, because they know that we will embrace their culture. That was the strategy of the colonizer: divide and rule. In our beautiful continent, that's how the visa came about, and that's how our beautiful continent was divided. That was the beginning of South Africa, the beginning of Nigeria, the beginning of Angola. Those countries were not there. Our country was called, our continent was called Africa. But after the colonizing and that meeting that happened, because the reason why they had to divide us in all these regions, the strategy was to share the wealth, our wealth. Remember, this man went to them and said, and then how can we access their wealth? Their wealth, divide and rule. Let's share their wealth amongst us. And they managed to do that successfully. That was the beginning of Nigeria, Angola, Southern Hemisphere, Western Africa, and Northern Africa. Isn't it that sad? My task, the question that they've asked me, you can all see there on the program, can we really have a visa-free Africa? Is that possible? That's why I said they gave me a difficult topic, considering what is happening in our country. My answer is simple. It is a dream that we want, and it is a dream that we all should aim for, a visa-free Africa. Imagine all these continents, all these countries. Why do I keep on saying continent? Imagine all these countries in Africa united, working together. Won't we have the America of Africa in Africa? Just think for a sec. All of us as black people working together and going back to our spirit of Ubuntu. With all the resources that we have. And when I was joking with Fatima in the car, I said, tell me, what is it that America have except a hamburger? Yeah. What do they have in America except a hamburger? But what do Nigeria have? Oil. In South Africa, what do we have? It's so painful that we are rich in resources and mineral, but yet we are poor. Yet we are poor. Yet we are poor. As rich as we are still a continent that does not value the life of women and children. Isn't it that sad? This country that does not value the lives of women and children. That's the African continent. I remember when I went to Asia promoting my product, by the virtue of me saying it's an organic sanitary pads, they all bought it. Because those men understood that had it not been of a woman bleeding, there wouldn't be in existence. That's how much they value their women. But not in Africa. Now I'm going back to the question. Can we have a visa-free Africa? Yes, we can. But not now. Not now. I don't think we're ready. With all that has happened in our beautiful continent, we are now in a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess-up situation. It's a mess. My message will be to all my African brothers and sisters. Instead of migrating to Europe and America, let's remain in Africa and fix our mess. You're not hearing me. Instead of migrating to Africa, instead of migrating to Europe and America, I'm challenging my African brothers and sisters to stay in their own country and fix the mess. Then once the mess is fixed, then we can have a free visa Africa. Because for now, there's a messed up situation where the countries that are supposed to be run by people, it is now run by politicians. The politicians that have, I said to Fatima, our beautiful, rich continent has been hijacked by scavengers in the name of politics. Everyone that enters the political arena, the space of political arena. It's not about serving people, but it's about serving themselves and their family and those who are closer to them. But it's not about serving our people. We've all abandoned the mandate and the mandate. I remember when the African National Congress, I'm going to talk about them because I'm a South African, when they started, if you read the Freedom Charter, which was a vision, it was a vision that was drafted by Collective. And when they drafted that, it was the vision of what they have in mind of the better future, which is South Africa that they were dreaming of. And when I say I'm joking, how can you think you run a country with a one-pager? But they were dreamers. It was just a one-pager. Freedom Charter is a one-pager. And in that Freedom Charter, one of the lines says, the people shall govern.